made another clean victory on the Queen's Gambit. Very clean match, I think. So I always defend the Queen's Gambit. As soon as the queen comes out, I always bring my queen out right in front of the king. Because it defends this pawn, and my king defends itself. So when they bring out the bishop, it's you know invalid. But they didn't bring out the bishop, they attacked my pawn. I didn't care too much about the pawn attack at the time. Actually, I did something I unintentionally I don't know. It unintentionally was a good idea, but I blocked the attack on the pawn by the queen with another pawn that my queen was defending. I just wanted to see what would happen if I did this move. I wasn't even considering this pawn at the time, but now that I'm looking back at it, it actually blocks the queen from taking this pawn and potentially checking me or trading queens or something. So I played this pawn. I just wanted to see what they would do. They went ahead and took my pawn. I took their pawn back because I could. I was still defending my pawn, and the king is defending itself. So they bring their queen back. I set up my bishop for an attack here. Incidentally, this position, as you'll see later, turns out to be really bad. But first, there's a little bit of action. So they bring out their bishop for the queen's gambit, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know what a good move would be without bringing my queen back or something. I didn't really want to bring my queen back, so instead I brought my pawn forward because I knew the pawn wouldn't take. I knew the bishop would take, and when the bishop took, I could defend my king with my bishop. And so if they took bishop bishop, I just take with my queen or my pawn or something. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. They instead retreated their bishop in a not so good way. They went back over here instead of back by the king. So I brought my bishop forward anyways, as good defense, and defends this pawn over here. They bring out their knight. I defend the pawn with another pawn. They move their king. I do. I mean, well, the idea is they're avoiding the check by the queen, and so that they could take with their pawn instead. So that was the idea behind the move, behind the king. I bring this pawn forward. The idea wasn't to attack this pawn, it was actually just to set up my bishop. They attack this pawn. I take with my bishop, actually. So now the queen is defending this pawn, and the bishop is defended by this pawn, which is also attacking their queen. They take my bishop with their knight. I thought they might have taken bishop for bishop, to be honest, but the knight was actually a good idea. And the reason why is because the next move checks my king and forks my rook. I saw this. I wasn't too sure what my next move ought to have been, but I decided just to defend the attack and move my knight. It was a good move and a good position to be in. They're on autopilot. I don't know why they wouldn't have just done a different move than this, but they just go ahead and sacrifice their knight for no reason. So I take the knight. And then they attack my pawn that's defended by my queen. I thought about raising the pawn. What did I do? I forget. I brought my knight out. And so they took. Yeah, I decided to let this pawn go. I brought my knight out instead to defend the pawn. And the idea actually was so that my queen could attack here. So they take my pawn. And I take back with my knight. Apparently the computer thinks it's bad moves all around, but that's the idea. They bring out their knight. I decide to check them. The check has been open for a while now, and I didn't fully realize it. I could have definitely checked them then, and maybe made some progress, but a few moves later, I check them, and they defend the check with their bishop. I decide to prevent him from castling. So I take the bishop with the rook, force the king to take the rook, and prevent a castle. It was a bad move, too. And the reason why is because this position I told you about earlier turned out to be really detrimental. And it was that by accident, too. This was a really good move that just happened naturally. Um, and I almost didn't spot it. So this idea was not intentional to attack the queen. It really was just to prevent the castle. And the computer knows it's a bad move, and it's because I spotted what the good move was. I wasn't sure if I wanted to. I think I could have still castled. Um, there was an idea where I could attack the pawn with my queen. I wasn't sure about that, and I thought about the check with the bit with or not the check, but attacking the queen with my knight somehow. But I then before the last second, I spotted this move, and I was like, "Damn, that is a winner." So they back the king up. I take the queen, and they resign. I played the game with the computer, and whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Basically, I take my queen here. My bishop does a little bit. My knight gets sacrificed. My knight gets sacrificed. I end up winning the game with the rook and my two knights and my queen, obviously. But yeah, so pretty good game. Queen's Gambit is really easy to deal with once you understand what's being targeted. This was an accidental defense. It actually turned out really good. This pawn won me the game. Incidentally, I was just like, what happens if I put my pawn here? And lo and behold, all of these moves later, this pawn wins me the game. That's crazy. From here, wait, where is it? This move to this move. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's one way you can really deal with a Queen's Gambit very easily if they play this succession of moves. It's actually not hard to defend at all. They kind of just threw pieces at me. They're rated 900. It's not bad, but they definitely could have put more thought into some of their moves. Like this knight was a good move. And then I defended. I thought my defense was pretty good. Maybe there's a better move I could have made, but I don't really know, to be honest. Like, I considered taking with the pawn, but then there's the bishop, and nothing's really attacking it. I guess I could have brought my knight forward earlier, but then maybe he would have taken that knight. I don't know. But I defended it, and he just made that really bad move. Like, that was probably the worst move he made, I think. Because he just gave away a knight for no reason. And that was the game. They gave up. So anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.